Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and this video is going to be my final thoughts / review on the Arrma Typhon Grom. Now before we get into it, my initial thoughts with this, doing a review, would be probably 20 packs run through this car. I decided after 10 packs was plenty enough to give you at least my final thoughts on it and what I think of the car. If you haven't watched any of my videos yet on the Typhon Grom, and you want to know more about how much the car cost, what was in it, go check out my other videos. I'm not going to get into that in this one, really. I'm just going to try and keep it as brief and interesting as possible. But like I said, this is a 10-pack review. Let's get started. Now, I will get this out of the way. First things first, other than my first run where I had a breakage on the car, I have not broken anything on it, and I have driven it, not just myself, but some others that have driven it, have driven the car very hard. One thing I did notice, though, was that part that I had replaced. And again, go back on my other videos and check it out if you want to. In here, it just was not, I was not getting smooth rolling action. So I took everything apart again before running it today. And I mean, everything seemed fine, but it just felt bound up. The best that I can figure putting this back together, that I didn't have one of the bearings fully seated in there. I got all that stuff done, put back together, and everything is fine. Stuff that comes with the car besides the actual car itself, my quick thoughts on. Arrma always does great manuals. They're a multi-use tool of using the lug wrench on one side and your hex keys on the other. It's a solid tool, the Spectrum SLT2. I've got a bunch of these across many different platforms, and you know, it's a solid radio. It does what you need it to do, and with the 50, 75, 100 throttle input, you know, you can hand this off to somebody new until they get themselves, you know, kind of acclimated to the car. Solid performing radio. I have no issues with it. The battery, 1400 milliamp hour. It's a 30C 2S Spectrum battery. I have no problems with it. I get good run times, depending on how hard I'm running it. I've been getting 15 to maybe 20 minutes of run time. The whole smart battery, smart technology thing, you know, I'm pretty much, I think this is the third RC that I have that has the smart batteries. This one, I've got the Lowe's Mini LMT, and actually my Aero Scout plane has a smart technology battery as well. You know, with the two ground vehicles, I use the included USB chargers. Yes, it takes a little bit longer, but I try to anticipate my run, so I don't really let it annoy me too much. If I did let it annoy me a lot, I'd be going out and buying a new charger, and I really don't feel like doing that. Aside from the breakage on the very first run, this car is tough as nails. I've not broken a single thing since. And since that first breakage, I decided, you know what, maybe slightly out of annoyance because of that breakage, I'm going to run this car a lot harder than I typically do any of my other cars. As you'll see in these clips, and so many more caught off of camera, this car has survived so many cartwheels, so many tumbles, so many lawn dart landings after jumps, and I was really surprised that not only did I not break anything, but I didn't break the body. The body retainment system didn't break. The rear spoiler, which I'm known for breaking those, I did not break that either. And this car has been run on a number of surfaces: grass, dirt, gravel, stones, concrete, asphalt, driven off 8-foot heights, as you'll see later in the video. And again, not a single thing is broken. This car, its acceleration and speed, while maybe 22 miles an hour being a smaller car, feels a lot more fast, especially when you're on those high bite surfaces like asphalt. You know, in the grass, my grass right now is higher because I'm waiting for things to dry out so I can cut it. It's still charged through the grass. The inside part of my track, not groomed yet. A lot of stones. Those do have a tendency to throw the buggy around, but again, it's a small scale, low slung buggy. Overall, I think it does quite respectable. In my opinion, Arrma made a good move when they made the Typhon Grom by putting that fan in there to keep things kind of cool. I have not run this car really in any extreme heat. It has not gotten that warm here yet. But there were times after running it, I'd feel the motor and the motor felt warm, but it was never hot to the touch. So again, putting the fan in there was a real good move. I wonder if they're going to do the same with the Granite Grom in the newer ones that they make. And while stones will kind of throw this car around a little bit, overall this is a very smooth driving car. I think out of the box it's set up pretty well. The tires hook up decently on most surfaces. The buggy does tend to have a nose down attitude when jumping. One of those things I gotta remember, keep my finger on the throttle to keep those wheels rotating to kind of keep things more on an even keel. And despite being a low slung buggy and most of this terrain that I'm riding in out here, it does a really good job of getting itself over most obstacles, and if you do get stuck a lot of times, a little forward, a little back, you'll more often than not be able to get yourself out of trouble. Now coming up here in the next couple clips, I decided to take the car off twice off of Hayden's treehouse, as we'll see here, and that's about 8 feet up, and both times the car survived without any problems. I did break one of my camera mounts. I was able to get it fixed, but the car off of that height, fine, nothing broke. Now, one of the 3 occasions I took the buggy to work, on this here day, it was raining out, and I decided, hey, let's check that claim of waterproof electronics. It was raining, I was running it through the puddles, and the car did not have any issues with that whatsoever. It never stopped, it never lagged, none of that stuff. It did just fine. The one thing I did notice when I was done with my lunch break, I shut the car off. The car shut off, but the fan kept going. Obviously, being at work, I didn't have a chance to blow it out. So I got it home, blowed it out. The fan still didn't want to shut off, but by the next day, everything was fine. Through 10 packs, the biggest fault that I personally could find with this car when running off-road, as we see here, is you get little pebbles, little stones lodged up inside the wheels, which kind of will bind that tire up when it's lodged between the wheel and the back arm. You know, not a huge deal. It just locks the wheel up, you got to turn it over, you got to skip the rock out of there. But really, that was the biggest issue that I had had. That happened probably, I'd say 8 to 10 times in the packs that I ran on this car. So now we near the end of my review on the Arrma Typhon Grom, and I'll just give you a few of my last thoughts about this car. If you guys are still here watching this, you're the true heroes. But I think it was on my first run video of this car, somebody that doesn't typically watch my videos commented flatly, plastic junk. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. There was a few comments back and forth, as I recall, and basically this person was saying, you know, you go to Amazon and you can buy a much faster car for far less money. I can't argue with that. There are faster cars on Amazon that are cheaper. Some of them are good, some of them not so good. But this is the car that I'm reviewing. So how do I personally feel about spending $139 on the Typhon Grom? I feel pretty good about it. And after the 10 packs that I've run through this car, despite that breakage in the beginning, this car has earned a place in the Hey Dad RC garage. This car's not going anywhere. You know, sometimes down the line I do sell certain cars to make money to buy new ones. This one won't be one of them. It's a nice small buggy. It's fun. It's plenty fast enough for this old fella. I have no plans on putting a brushless system in here. I know a lot of people have, but for my purposes, this car suits me just fine. The few people that I handed it off to at work seem to enjoy it. And again, it's one of those RCs, you don't have to go through the song and dance to get it ready to go out and run. I mean, you can just, you charge a pack, throw in the car, and you're good to go out and have some fun on the go, or take it out in your backyard. Oh, but the way the market seems to be going, you know, there's a huge emphasis on big cars, big trucks, insanely fast motors, and you know, kind of dovetailing back to that one viewer's comment, I applaud Arrma myself personally for kind of venturing away from that a little bit by offering the Granite Grom for $129, the Typhon Grom for $139, and cars like the Gorgon that I've got sitting over here somewhere. I mean, these are inexpensive offerings made by a quality leader in the market that allows people to get into this hobby to see if they enjoy it without having to spend an arm and a leg. And I think that's a great thing, and I applaud Arrma for doing just that. Another side note, I usually take really good care of my cars. Few people that might watch these that know me, I'm pretty meticulous for the most part about keeping them clean. And this one here, when I ran it and worked that day in the water, obviously I had to go back to work after my lunch break. There was no way I was blowing this car off, so I didn't get to do it until that evening when I went home. So this is probably the only vehicle out of all of the RC cars that I have where I actually have rust. Don't know how well it's going to show up on camera, but a lot of my screw heads have rust on them, and that's usually a thing that annoys the heck out of me. But I was not able to properly clean this car off after that run in the water, and in all the subsequent runs I figured, you know what, I'm going to keep the car primarily as it was after all of these runs. I did blow any large chunks off after my last run today, but you know, this car has held up to the abuse. It is a fun car. You know, will we see it out on the track? It depends how well I can groom the track, because no matter what I do, stones keep popping up out there, and you know, stones will kind of throw this car around. But overall, guys, I am very happy with my purchase. So many things that I like about this car. This body system I love. I didn't break it, and while I got some pretty good scrapes on the back of the wing there, I managed to not break a wing on an RC buggy. I'm pretty happy about that. So guys, that's going to wrap up my long-term review on the Arrma Typhon Grom. For me personally, I feel pretty good about the $139 that I spent. I'll keep an eye out to see if Arrma does anything similar to this, now that they've got two with the Typhon and with the Granite. And yeah, that's going to do it. Guys, as always, thanks for taking some time out of your day to check out my videos. Until next time, everybody stay safe. We'll see you around.